That's, I just saw a meme that said, for all of you who don't really like Alexa listening to everything you say, they're coming out with a new version with a male voice. Doesn't listen to anything you say. So, aloha, Big Island. So, give a shout out to the Big Island.
Hi. What up, Big Island?
So, we have a very intimate group here, so I'm going to do this sitting down, and we'll just talk, if that's okay. Because what I usually do is start out with the top 10 list. So why don't we just talk about the top 10 reasons to hold open house? Go ahead.
Find new clients.
Find new clients. What kind of clients?
People that are looking to buy within today from a year from now or 5 years from now.
Or 5 years from now. Okay. What about you? What other reason would you hold open house?
You've got people that are already interested in real estate, so they're already, like you said, thinking. Another reason, you're getting to learn about that complex or that area.
The neighborhood,
Yep,
right?
the neighborhood.
So what you would like to be able to do at the open house, especially if you're going to go to the neighborhood or the complex more frequently, is establish yourself as the local expert. So people come to you, if you're in Kaanapali Shores, and there's an agent somewhere that wants to know anything about Kaanapali Shores, or better yet, there's a client somewhere that wants to know about that complex, they call you, right? They get to know you. What else you got?
You're selling the property.
You're trying to sell the property, so you're making the seller happy. So, and we know statistically that the odds of you selling the property where you're holding the open house are very low. However, it makes your seller happy. It can show you that you're working for them. I remember one of my first listings, so it came from one fellow that knew me, referred me to a friend of his, and I was up there holding an open house several times a week, back in those days, several times a week. And my friend said to his friend, wow, he's really working for you, because I was sitting there every day waiting for people to come through. So meeting buyers, learning the complex in that case. So it makes the seller happy that you're doing that. What else?
We got 3 out of 10, right?
I would think also put your name out there.
A little branding, a
Yeah,
little name
it's a branding
recognition.
one.
Yeah. So who would see your name?
Potential clients.
And agents.
Other agents too.
Okay, so, and why is it important for other agents to see your name out there?
To make sure you're legitimate.
Okay.
If that makes sense, yeah. Just make
If
sure
they
you're
see
getting
that
out
you're
there.
working all the time and an agent sees an offer come from you, they go, oh yeah, I know who that guy is. He was out holding an open house. They really, it gives you an air of legitimacy because you're working.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. Who else is going to see you at those open houses?
5 years, maybe.
How about all the other people in that neighborhood who live there?
Oh, the neighbors.
Yeah, neighbors, that's big.
Or if you're at a condo-tel, the guests.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So why is that important?
Because one of them could walk in and be like, oh, I really like this complex, and
Okay, one of them could already be an owner there.
yeah, could be.
So, and then what might happen?
Could plant the seed for them potentially selling.
Could plant a seed, yeah. So, oh, I know her, she was holding open house here all the time. I see her working, I have trust in her, right?
Yeah.
So we practice ninja selling at Aloha Group. And ninja selling, really the basic 2 tenets is add value, build trust. And so whenever we are working with somebody, it's always about you, it's not about me. So how do I add value for you? And once I start adding value, then you start to trust me. And when you start to trust me, when you're going to do a real estate transaction, do you want to work with somebody you already know and trust?
Of course, makes it easy.
Okay. So that's where we're trying to go with this. This class started back in, gosh, about 2006. And at that time, there were a group of us on the west side that held open house every single day. And we were all having some success. And at some point, we weren't having as much success as we thought we should have. And so a group of us got together, started getting together every Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock at Bev Will's house to drink wine and talk about open house, right? So what are you doing? What's working? What's not working? What do we need to do? We called it the jam session, and mostly it was a good reason to get together and drink wine with your friends, right? But it really kind of, all of these topics sort of evolved out of that and the training that we had, which was with Keller Williams and with another company when we got started out. So when we first got started out, my wife and I and one other person, we were with another company that had pretty much no training. But once a month, the owner of the company would come down to Lahaina and just do a session, and he was really impressive. And so one day, a woman in the class asked, "Hey, Bob, do you ever do training?" He said, "I love to train, it's great. Call me anytime, I'll do training." And so my broker at the time, I said, "Wow, that's really good, I want to go get training from this guy." And my broker said, "Oh, he'll never do it. He just says it, he'll never do it." So I called him on the phone. He said, "I've got time the next 3 mornings. So if you want to come down to my office, come down and I'll do training." So the 3 of us went down 3 mornings in a row. And he just sat at his desk, talked to us, drew pictures on a piece of paper. But the one thing he said that really, really stuck with me, and he said a lot that stuck with me, but the one thing was, Lee, if somebody comes to me, an agent comes to me and says, "I'm not making enough money," all I have to do is look at their calendar, and if they didn't work 20 open houses that month, they don't have any reason to complain. So I thought, well, wow, if 20 will do that, what if I worked open house every day? And so I would go to meetings, and whenever I was in a meeting, I would ask, does anybody have a listing where I can hold open house? And I had asked Bob, I don't have any listings, so how do I get to do an open house? He said, well, just go drive up and down Lower Honoapi'ilani Road, and one of your friends is holding open house, just go in and ask him if you can sit there. So that was the first thing I did. Went to an open house. A friend of mine that was just getting to know at the company, Steve, and went into Steve's open house. It was beautiful, it was ocean front. And I said, "Steve, can I hold open house here sometimes?" And like any good friend, he looked at me right in the eye and said, "No." And I said, "Why?" And what he said to me was, "Lee, if you hold open house 6 days a week, and I hold open house 7 days a week, I'm gonna sell more real estate than you. And I hold open house every single day." And I actually think he still does, because he's still out there, still holding open house, just about every single day. So I continued to look for an open house, and a woman named Jan Gilroy, who's with Keller Williams, at one of our meetings said, "I've got a place, it's at Kahana Sunset, it's unoccupied, it's not rented, you can hold open house every day there if you want." And like a young, impetuous kid, I said, "I'll hold open house every day for 30 days. And so then I was committed to that, and I did. And those 30 days, people there got to know me. I got to know the property, and I got some of my first buyers, and I got my first listing. And my first listing was $1.1 million, and it was at Kahana Shores. It was a guy that would drive by. He must have just been driving by, saw my sign up on the road, and he came down where I was holding open house. I remember sitting out on the lanai, and he said, "If I let you list my property, it's been listed, didn't get sold, if I let you list my property, will you do for me what you're doing for these people? Hold open house every day." And so I said yes. And he and his wife were living in that 2-bedroom condo. They moved out of there into a 1-bedroom condo that they also owned. And I set my office up in that condo. And I was there for 30 days, and I got more buyers. So the open house thing works. On the agenda, the next thing is I put the power of small wins. Because when I was a business consultant, I would also always ask people, what's your objective? What are you trying to achieve? And pretty much with any question somebody asked me, my response was, well, what's your objective? So I always have goals and objectives for pretty much anything that I'm doing. And with open house, we just talked about, why are you holding an open house? What's your objective? Well, I want to get buyers. I want to get listings. And I didn't get a buyer every day. I didn't get a listing every day. But every day when I left, my wife, my business partner, would say, how did it go today? And so I needed to have an answer that was a small win. So the thing we didn't talk about is building your database. So my goal every day was to see how many new people I could get to sign up, to give me their name, phone number, and an email address at a minimum to sign up for my newsletter. And so if I could say, oh, we got 3 to sign up for the newsletter, that was a win. That was a good day. So power small wins, what does that do for you? Have a small win. I mean, what does that do for you?
Gives you a little confidence.
Yeah, a little sense of accomplishment.
Definitely.
Small wins equal ultimately a big win at some point. It's building that momentum.
Running a marathon, one step at a time, right? For 26.2 miles. So when you first go out and start training, it's not what it's going to be. And the objective is always build trust, add value. So one of the things we always talk about, when is the best time to hold an open house?
Sunset.
Why sunset? Because of the view, okay.
I mean, that's what I think. But I always see people never host on the west side during Tuesday.
Yeah, in fact, if you look in the newspaper where they have the open house listings and the classifieds, the most common thing I see is open house 1 to 4. It's like,
People are working, if they're on island, it's like,
yeah, so the end of the day, right?
yeah.
So,
But what about dinner? Doesn't dinner conflict with like 5 to 6:30 or whatever?
could be, a lot of people are just coming home then if you're in a residential neighborhood. A lot of people at the condo hotels coming back from the beach.
Yeah, July.
So sunset, a lot of our agents will sit from whatever time they start, 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And in the paper or in the listing, we'll put till sunset. So people will know that we're there. What about mornings?
I never see people do it before 9 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, so, but you see people at 9?
9, 10, yeah.
Okay. All right.
On the west side.
On the west side.
I see it pretty active over here in the mornings. I mean, in Kihei.
In Kihei, down
Yeah.
South Kihei Road.
Yeah, South Kihei.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like, do you ever see people do them like 6:30 to like 9? Like, cause I wake up super early and I know there's a crowd that wakes up super early.
You mean in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there's a 6:30 in the morning?
No, I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
If you've ever seen an open house at like 7 a.m.
I've never seen anybody do it that early, but I've seen people start at 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know there's people that are up at 5 in the morning out here.
People coming from the mainland, why are they up that early?
My goodness.
They got jet lag, yeah, they're waking up at that time. You get down on Lower Road, the walkers are out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
definitely.
I had a whole team of agents that's when they wanted to go. They wanted to do like 8 o'clock till 11 or 8 till noon because they wanted to get all the walkers to come through. So,
Might be something
and if you look at other open house classes or you look online about doing open house, a lot of people talk about Sunday, Saturday, the weekend. So for a tourist that's here, which day is the weekend?
During the
there.
week.
Monday through Friday.
How about
Every day.
Monday through Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
literally
true.
every day.
Every
But I
day
feel like a lot of people fly in, fly out Saturday, Sunday. What do you say?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah, those are probably the busiest days. I know at Kahanapali Shores, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are our busiest days in the office that we have there.
Okay.
So it's a lot of people coming in, coming out. They'll come in, just, hey, we're leaving tomorrow. You know, can we look at something today? But I would say on this island for sure. But if I were, just dropped down in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska, and I was gonna start my business, I'd hold open house every day. So people in the neighborhood get used to seeing your sign. One of the things that Bob taught me was always hold open house at least 4 days in a row.
That makes sense.
Because people get used to seeing that sign, and they see your signs, Gabriella, and, oh, I'm gonna go to that, oh, I didn't make it today, oh, I'm gonna go to that, oh, I didn't make it today. But it's consistency, it's building your name, it's letting people know that you're there. And, I mean, if you're working from home anyway, like we just said, there aren't any customers walking through your front door coming into your home office. So you may as well set up your office at an open house somewhere. So just in terms of advertising your open house, how are you gonna get people to come to see you?
Social media.
Social media? So what are you gonna put in social media?
They post open house. Text me for the address.
Text you for the address, okay. All right, that's one way.
I would think, talk to the people that are already living in that area and just let them know, like, hey, we're gonna be holding an open house. I don't know, that's a potential.
Are you going through Ignite?
I've already taken Ignite.
You've already taken Ignite. So they talk about door knocking, right?
Yeah, the door knocking.
Okay, so it's a pretty low-risk way to meet the neighbors, is walk around and say, hey, we're doing a nosy neighbors open house on Saturday.
Yeah.
Go around and let people know. What else can you do?
Put open house signs everywhere, right?
Okay, we'll talk about signs, where you can put signs. And for social media, why would you not put the address in?
Because we don't want creeps coming by people's house. I feel like you shouldn't just post the address.
Okay. I tell people where I am, what I'm doing. I walk out, like, if I'm at an ocean front, when I get there, I'll go out and take a picture of the view, take a little video clip, put that up on Facebook, let them know where I am, what time I'm gonna be there, invite them to come on by. And I would encourage the listing agent, if you're not the listing agent, get the listing agent to do social media for you.
That's a good
To let
idea.
them know that you're coming. The other thing you'd like from the listing agent is to have them list the open house in Paragon, our MLS system. Why would you want to do that?
That shoots to all the brokerages.
Shoots to all the brokerages. Who else can look at it?
Oh, even the public can see it.
Public can search on Paragon. Yep. So there's a public-facing site.
I didn't know
Yep, it shows a little pair of glasses down there.
that. Oh.
It's rammaui.com. And the other thing that having it in Paragon does is we syndicate that to places like Zillow. So Zillow will show open house. And how many people search for properties on Zillow?
Everybody.
A lot, right? So you want to get it out there that way. What else can you do to get people to come into your open house?
I'm only saying this because I think you said it last time. Have like a drawing.
No, I didn't say have a drawing, but you can do
Or
that.
Okay.
When I do the drawing thing, because I do that for Real Estate Caravan,
Okay.
so we do that to get the other agents to come in and see the open house. It's a bribe, right?
Okay. But you don't do it, you wouldn't post it to like your friends to be like, hey, come check out this
No,
house, $25.
no, I don't do that, but you can give that a shot if you like.
I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I'm over it.
Email blast, right? So I think that you're not able to do that yet through command, but you can do that through a program like MailChimp And MailChimp is free to use for, I believe it's up to 1,000 users. So you might check with MailChimp. Check with MailChimp and see how many people you can load in there, because there are about 1,700 members of RAM, so you may not be able to get everybody for free. But every open house, we blast out to the Realtors Association that we're holding an open house, put the times in there. And it's interesting, because some realtors will unsubscribe from those blasts, and that's fine. But other realtors, especially at this time of year when it's really busy, and if you're sitting at a condotel and they've got a client that wants to see properties, it's hard for them to find properties right now. They'll look for open houses in RAM, or they'll look at your email blast, and they'll come by your open house.
Okay.
We've got a window tomorrow for about an hour between a checkout and a check-in. I've got 3 agents scheduled to come in and see that for clients right now.
Wow.
That's how tight things are, that's how motivated some of those agents are. So if they don't know that you're gonna be there, then they can't come and see you.
An opportunity.
Also, do you each have a database?
I kind of set mine up in command.
Okay,
I had a problem that it only synced 100 people out of my phone.
all right, so 100, that's still pretty
Yeah.
good. What about you?
Yeah, mine's a little bit small too on command.
Okay. Do you have them anywhere else set up in a database? Like an Excel sheet? Can you export it down to Excel?
Yeah, I have them on my Google Drive.
You do?
And
Okay.
that's initially how I was putting them into command.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I am right now.
I would also do an email blast out to everybody that's in your database. So it does a couple of things for you. First of all, they can all see that you're working.
Okay.
And that's important to anybody that you want to have as a client. They want to know that you're a working realtor. They might come to your open house, but you're extending your reach. They might refer you to somebody else. They might take those emails that you're blasting out and send those to friends. And all those things happen. So it's not like every day consistent, but we get more people coming to look at properties on our website from email blasts than anything else. So we do pay-per-click, we get organic looks, and email blasts with a link to the listing, pull people in. Okay. So work with the listing agent to get links so that you can do that. And have them, if one of you is doing an open house for one of our listings, we'll do the blast
Okay.
and get it out there. So we want to help you get clients, we want to help you sell that property, and hopefully pick up some leads and sell other properties. Gabrielle already said, let the neighbors know. And one of the things that's really overlooked, especially if you're at a condotel, is let the front desk know. Okay? So go to the front desk of whatever the complex is. There's probably somebody working there. Take them some flyers and take them some brownies.
Okay.
So that you can bribe them. There's not even a drawing there.
It's a good idea.
Let them know where you are and how long you're going to be there, and give them flyers. When we first came to the island, and when my sister-in-law, who was a realtor already, first came to the island, we didn't really understand that the person at the front desk doesn't know anything about the real estate that's for sale there. They don't have anything to do with that. They're just checking in guests. And so we would go to the front desk and say, oh, is there anything for sale here? And they'd just be gruff and send us on our way. And it was later I figured out that they don't really want to deal with real estate. And the first place was at Conopoli Shores, because I was going in, this guy that I listed as 2-bedroom place. I'd go to the front desk, let him know, hey, I'm going to be holding open house today from 1 to 5. So if anybody comes in, because I've got signs out on the road, can you please send them up? Oh yeah, we'll send them up. So I go up to my open house, nobody comes up. So I go downstairs and say, hey, what's up? did anybody come in? Was anybody looking for the open house? And the ladies at the front desk said, oh, yeah, yeah. Well, Whalers Realty had an office down the hall,
Oh, no.
and it said open house on the office. And they said, oh, yeah, we sent them down to the open house. I said, oh, no, 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 time out, time out. So the next day, I brought brownies, I brought flyers, and on the brownies, I put a note with my business card that said, open house, 9/16, 1 to 5, do not send them to Whalers. And people started coming upstairs. So I brought them brownies every single day, and at Christmas I took little splits of champagne. And brownies are magic. Brownies will get people to come to you.
Yeah.
And other places where we took flyers to the front desk, it was really a very similar experience. And when you're not there, and people come in and ask about real estate, they'll say, oh, here, call this guy. And they hand over one of your flyers with your contact information on it. And lo and behold, people call you on the phone. Then we take little gifts to the front desk to reward good behavior, right?
Yeah.
Does that happen? People come to the front desk and ask about real estate?
All the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
It's like that.
So we take care of those people very, very well. There's one complex, now the general manager has changed, but when he was there, and even today, the new general manager, when people come up to that desk, they'll give them my business card. And just say, call this guy. Because we don't want to talk about real estate. We're not realtors. We can't really play that game here, so just call this guy. And build that bond. When you start holding an open house somewhere, build that bond with the front desk. So one of the fellows that was in a previous class also talked about just go to the front desk and ask them what their rules are. Where can I put signs? And so we'll kind of talk about where can you put signs. The front desk is really appreciative when you follow their rules. And so sometimes you probably should follow the rules. Sometimes we kind of go around the rules a little bit, but you still have to treat that very delicately. Have either of you held an open house yet?
I have not. I've been to a lot of them.
Have you?
A lot.
Good, good. So you're meeting the agents that are there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So who have you seen out there? Who do you remember?
This guy named Owen.
Owen Langer.
Yeah, I remember him.
Heidi Dollinger. Yeah.
This woman named Carolyn at Coldwell Banker. She lives on this side. Another woman named Dawn Valentine.
Cool.
Sarah Twitchell.
Sarah? Yeah.
Yep, she's out there.
Yep, she's out there. She's with Keller Williams.
I'd say a lot of Bill Dale.
I know that name, I don't know him.
But yeah,
It's good for them to see your face, get to know you.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah, make that connection.
So I'm getting that. I couldn't remember all of them, but I've been 40 open houses, I'd say. So
Good.
I can definitely tell, like, just based on the agent's body language and like how they present themselves and just little nuances about how they are as people, I think.
Okay, so you're reading their body language.
Yeah, I definitely think I can.
Oh, I definitely think you can, yes. Yeah, absolutely. And where are their signs?
Some of them are well marked and some of them are terrible.
Some of them are, you may be able to find this places,
Yeah,
right?
I went to Caravan this morning, and I just found out you are not allowed to have open house signs in Kahlua, which I did not know.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think so. So I didn't know that.
All right, so just in general, how many signs do you need to have to get somebody to an open house?
I'd say at least 3.
Okay, at least 3.
It depends on how many twists and turns you have to take, right?
It depends. So that's the other thing that consultants always say. It depends, right?
And yeah, depending on how far in your place is.
So one of the first places that I ever held open house, I was at a meeting, company meeting, and I raised my hand and asked, is does anybody have a place where I can hold open house? And this wonderful woman who I know today, she's still in real estate, she's still working for another company, but we'll get her sooner or later. She said, I have a place in Lahaina, and you will need 5 open house signs to get people there. So she knew exactly how many signs I needed, from the highway up through the twists and turns through the neighborhood, up to get to this house. So, and if you're down on South Kihei Road, or you're on Lower Honopi'ilani Road, you'll see people will put them at places where you pull down to the road from the highway, pointing one way or the other. I think those are very effective. And then you get to the property, you can put them, right in front of the property. Be careful of having it on county property, because there are guys that will come around from the county or from the state and pick up your signs. And then you call the county or the state, and they'll tell you, we don't have your signs. They do. So find out from the listing agent where you can put signs. If you're in an area like Ka'anapali, where they also don't allow signs, I still would put one in the yard of the house. Nobody ever gave me any trouble there, but trying to get them beyond the main roads, that somebody will come by and talk to you or take your sign. So just talk to the agent about where you can put those. In the condo complex, ask the front desk where you can put the signs.
Okay.
And then I bought like the little arrows that you could get from Ace Hardware, say open house, on the little wires, and plant those around the property, because a lot of properties like Papakea, Ainanalu, they are twisty, turny, and people have trouble finding them. So put those out. Ainanalu allows those, just as an example. Papakea doesn't. But they will send people to you. And if you put those signs out and security comes around, usually they'll pick them up and take them to you and tell you you can't do that. What we did do at some of these places that don't allow signs is the slider that would face either the courtyard or the beach where people were walking by. We'd put a sign inside in front of that window, so anybody walking by could see that.
Okay.
A kapalua, the trick I was taught by a friend of mine, Casey Fukuda, was you can't even put an open house sign in front of the condo where you are holding open house. So he said, put it inside your car window. Roll the windows up, fly